Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Avnita. I am a first year family medicine resident, and I have been reading the first aid for step 1 all over again. So, we have been on the endocrine section, and I finally found the 2025 version of the first aid. So, now I'm using that. This is on page 334. We have done the embryology, anatomy, and now we're on the physiology part. If you remember, we have covered the antidiuretic hormone, growth hormone, and general overview of different hormones. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the prolactin. It is mainly secreted by anterior pituitary. We already know that posterior pituitary is the one responsible for antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin, and anterior pituitary is responsible for the rest of those, and the rest including prolactin. It stimulates milk production in breast and then inhibits ovulation in female and spermatogenesis in males by inhibiting the GnRH synthesis and release. So we talked about this in the first page. If you remember clearly, we said this part where prolactin decreases GnRH, stimulates lactogenesis, and then we talked about pituitary prolactinoma, which causes amenorrhea, and osteoporosis, hypogonadism, galactorrhea, and breastfeeding can cause increase in prolactin, therefore decreasing the GnRH production, and this causes delayed postpartum ovulation, therefore used as natural conception by some people. So again, back to prolactin page. So here you'll see that it stimulates the milk production in breast, inhibits ovulation in females, and spermatogenesis in males by inhibiting the GnRH synthesis and release. Now, regulation of prolactin. The secretion of prolactin from anterior pituitary is tonically inhibited by dopamine from tuberoinfundibular pathway of the hypothalamus. Prolactin in turn inhibits its own secretion by increasing dopamine synthesis and secretion by the hypothalamus. The thyroid releasing hormone increases prolactin secretion, example in primary or secondary hypothyroidism. Dopamine has stronger effect on prolactin regulation than thyroid releasing hormone. Now, structurally, the prolactin is homologous to growth hormone, and excessive amount of prolactin is associated with galactorrhea, amenorrhea, infertility, osteoporosis in females, and gynecomastia in males, and it can cause infertility, decreased libido, and impotence in males as well. And then dopamine agonists such as bromocriptine and cabergoline inhibit prolactin secretion, and this can be used in treatment of prolactinoma. Dopamine antagonists, most commonly antipsychotics and metoclopramide, and estrogens such as OCPs and pregnancy stimulates prolactin secretion. So again, prolactin itself released by anterior pituitary. Now, what is the function of prolactin? It is lactogenesis and then blocks GnRH release, therefore blocks the ovulation in female and spermatogenesis in male. Now, what happens in the level of prolactin? If it has been producing, now it has to decrease its production. What happens? Prolactin, it basically regulates its own production. So when there is high amount of prolactin, dopamine would be released, and this dopamine at the tuberoinfundibular pathway of the hypothalamus will go and block the prolactin release, and high amount of dopamine will cause decrease in the prolactin level. And also the thyroid releasing hormone has an impact on prolactin, but it is more of a positive effect on prolactin. Thyroid releasing hormone increases the secretion of prolactin. And then dopamine has a stronger effect on the prolactin level. So dopamine decreases the level of prolactin, and thyroid releasing hormone increases the level of prolactin. And then since dopamine decreases prolactin, dopamine agonists can be used in treatment for diseases where there is too much prolactin. So these dopamine agonists are bromocriptine and cabergoline. An extra amount of prolactin in body would cause amenorrhea, gynecomastia, infertility, osteoporosis, decreased libido, impotence in males, and Then in the case where, say, patient is using dopamine antagonists such as antipsychotics or metoclopramide, or patient is pregnant, or patient is taking or contraceptive pills, these are different ways the prolactin levels are increased. So estrogen, pregnancy, antagonists of dopamine such as antipsychotics, metoclopramide, these all, it stimulates the prolactin release, and it is homologous to growth hormone, so structurally homologous to growth hormone. Now looking at this picture down here, you'll see, think of it as this: if a baby is crying, okay, just hear me out. If a baby is crying, the mother hears the baby cry. If you hear a baby crying, you wouldn't be happy. You'll be running around. You'll be trying to get that baby to stop crying. So you wouldn't be happy. So dopamine won't be released, but the thyroid releasing hormone would be released because you need to get things done. Thyroid releasing hormone has a positive effect on anterior pituitary, causing the release of prolactin right here. Now, if the prolactin is released, it will go to the breast, cause leptogenesis, and milk is produced. Now, the baby is drinking the milk. Now, the milk in the breast is getting low and the baby's tummy is getting full, so the baby is getting happy. As that happens, the baby is getting happy, and just think of it as the dopamine is now increasing. So if this dopamine is increasing, it will send a negative feedback and the prolactin level will decrease. Perfect, that's fantastic. Now, other ways that can increase prolactin level would be reduced elimination. In case of renal failure, there can be high amount of prolactin. The other way would be thyroid disorders. So primary or secondary hypothyroidism will send a positive feedback to thyroid releasing hormone. There will be too much thyroid releasing hormone, there will be too much prolactin. Another way would be estrogen, such as pregnancy, OCP. Estrogen will be causing a positive effect on prolactin release, and then prolactin itself, when it's high, it will send a negative feedback to GnRH. This will prevent ovulation in female and spermatogenesis in male. And that is prolactin for you. Thanks for listening. Bye.